Of all the mysterious objects that exist within the galaxy, the colossal star forts known as the Blackstone Fortresses are some of the most perplexing and foreboding. These ancient fortresses are immense and powerful artifacts, with the knowledge behind their technologies and construction being beyond the limits of comprehension for any of the sentient races that currently exist within the galaxy. The Blackstone Fortresses were first encountered by the Imperium of Man sometime between M31 and M32. Despite the extensive analyses undertaken by the Adeptus Mechanicus and numerous attempts to activate their inner workings, the Blackstone Fortresses would remain in a seemingly permanent state of dormancy. Despite this, the Blackstone Fortresses still generated enough power to allow the Mechanicus to retrofit these mysterious constructs with a number of additional weapon systems, transforming them into makeshift naval bases that rivaled the greatest command stations of the Imperial Navy in terms of sheer firepower and defensive capability. Over time, the Imperium would lay claim to 6 of these gargantuan constructs and use them to fortify the frontiers of the Imperium. In early M41, during the Gothic War, the 12th Black Crusade, all 6 of the Blackstone Fortresses would be dispatched to the Gothic sector in order to bolster Imperial defences against the forces of Abaddon the Despoiler. Abaddon would succeed in disabling and capturing 3 of these fortresses, and through arcane means, would manage to bring many of their ancient systems online. Under the Despoiler's control, the Blackstone Fortresses would cause untold devastation throughout the Gothic sector, which included the destruction of the Tarantis star, leading to a supernova that destroyed the entirety of the Tarantis system. When the Gothic War came to a close, Abaddon would flee into the warp with 2 of the Blackstone Fortresses, while the remaining 4 would mysteriously shatter into thousands of shards. Of these 2 remaining Blackstone Fortresses, one would be gifted by Abaddon to the Chaos Lord Huron Blackheart, where it currently resides within the warp rift known as the Maelstrom. The other, designated as Will of Eternity, would ultimately be destroyed during the events of the 13th Black Crusade, being deliberately crashed into the surface of the Imperial world of Cadia. Shortly after the creation of the colossal warp rift known as the Cicatrix Maledictum, a 7th Blackstone Fortress would mysteriously appear outside the boundaries of Segmentum Pacificus, in a region of space known as the Western Reaches. Unlike those that were previously encountered by the Imperium, this 7th Blackstone Fortress does not lie in a state of dormancy, but appears to be fully active, and not only that, this particular fortress appears to display some form of sentience, being able to act and react to intruders and other stimuli of its own accord. The interior of this fortress is impossible to map due to its constantly shifting and realigning chambers and corridors. Many of the fortress's integrated defenses, such as many powerful and utterly incomprehensible weapon systems, as well as various sentinel constructs, such as the notorious spindle drones, are also online, waiting to eliminate any who venture too deep into the heart of this fortress. Despite the dangers housed within, this Blackstone Fortress has attracted many explorers and would-be treasure hunters from a number of races, including humanity, the Eldari, and the Kroot. These adventurers seek to either obtain vast technological riches or unravel the secrets of this vast and unforgiving alien structure. But the biggest question that remains unanswered in regards to the Blackstone Fortresses is just where did these mysterious structures come from? Given how ancient the Blackstone Fortresses are, combined with the fact that, from a technological standpoint, they are beyond the comprehension and capability of the other races that currently exist within the galaxy, it is commonly assumed that the Blackstone Fortresses were created by none other than the mysterious race known as the Old Ones. The Old Ones were the first of the galaxy's truly sentient races, and were even said to be the first species within the galaxy to have developed interstellar travel. They were incredibly potent psychers who produced many great works of psychic engineering and even elevating the study of astromancy to that of an arcane science. The most famous of the many technological wonders developed by the Old Ones would be that of the subspace network known as the Webway, which allowed the species to traverse the vast expanse of the galaxy at incredible speed. The Old Ones would even create a number of other races and in time nurture their creations to maturity, or even to use them as soldiers and weapons of war. Such races include the Krork, the Jakero, the Hrud, and the Eldari, with the latter of which being the race that would inherit the Webway network from their creators. To the Eldari, the Old Ones would be looked upon as gods, inspiring many of their myths and legends. Ultimately, the Old Ones would suffer extinction thanks to the events of their great war with the Necrontyr and the godlike entities known as the Khitan. The Eldari hold the belief that the Blackstone Fortresses are in fact creations of the Old Ones, and were objects that were forged by none other than the smith god Vol, thus rendering them divine in nature. This is even reflected within the very name bestowed upon the fortresses by the Eldari themselves, with the race referring to them as the Talismans of Vol. Kurdrak, a warrior of the Dead Heart Cabal, would openly express his belief in this legend, as documented with the following quote from the short story Talisman of Vol, from the limited edition version of the novel Blackstone Fortress.
These oafs call it a Blackstone Fortress, but you and I know what it truly is. A piece of prehistory, a relic from before the fall, wrought by the great weaponsmith himself. Vol's talisman, a shard of his divinity, still hanging in the stars, still tangible and real.
Kurdrak and a number of other Drukhari, including his brother Zokar, the Cabal's Archon, would enter the 7th Blackstone Fortress seeking to bond their souls with the essence of Vol, due to their belief that the Smith God infused a literal piece of his soul into each and every one of his creations. While the idea that the Blackstone Fortresses were indeed constructed by the Old Ones for an unknown purpose would appear to be highly plausible, there is one major problem with this hypothesis. While the 8th edition Necron Codex does indeed confirm that the Old Ones were the first sentient species to evolve within the Milky Way galaxy, the Blackstone Fortresses would appear to be extragalactic in nature. Within the novel Blackstone Fortress, a portion of the 7th Fortress's interior would become tainted by chaotic corruption, which the gargantuan construct would repeatedly attempt to expunge. This site of corruption was encased within a shell of chaotic energy known as the Cancrum. When the heretic Glut asked the demon known as Fluxus if the Cancrum would be able to withstand the Blackstone Fortress's repeated attempts to purge itself of their corruption, the demon would respond with the following quote.
Of course, the Imperialism of it. If we keep behaving ourselves into the Cancrum, the Blackstone will take months to break through it. It is not of this galaxy. It does not understand the etheric beings such as us.
If the demon is to be believed, then the origins of the Blackstone Fortresses would lie somewhere beyond the expanse of the Milky Way galaxy. However, given how demons are known for manipulating mortal races, then the demon's words could indeed be deceptive in nature. Admittedly, there is also the possibility that when the demon stated that the fortress was not of this galaxy, Fluxus was, in actuality, trying to express that the construct was not of the warp. Although, if this were indeed the message that the demon attempted to convey, then why not use the term, not of this universe, since the warp and the material realm are indeed separate universes in their own right. But if the Blackstone Fortress is indeed an extragalactic creation, then this would also suggest that the warp is somehow limited to, perhaps even bound, to the Milky Way galaxy specifically. the possibility of the Blackstone Fortresses originating from outside of the galaxy would appear to be loosely supported by the fact that the 7th Blackstone Fortress would make its appearance beyond the boundaries of Segmentum Pacificus, specifically within a location known as the Halo Zone. The Halo Zone, which includes a number of worlds, most of which being claimed by the Imperium during the Makarian Crusade, is a region of space that is located along the very outskirts of the galaxy, and is even beyond the reach of the Astronomicon, the psychic beacon that allows Imperial ships to navigate the currents of the warp as they travel across the vast expanse of the galaxy. This would seem to suggest, at least from an initial standpoint, that this Blackstone Fortress had only recently made its way to the galaxy, as opposed to having already been hidden within it for millions of years. The fact that this particular fortress is shown to be far more active in comparison to the previous 6 encountered by the Imperium could also imply that this fortress is in the midst of either slowly powering down after a long journey, or perhaps is even waiting to recharge its fuel supply before moving on to its intended destination. It has been documented that this Blackstone Fortress does indeed consume the ships of other races, slowly transforming them into a literal part of the fortress, which would potentially support the notion of the fortress pausing in its journey in order to refuel, or using such material to repair any structural damages it had suffered. But if this is truly the case, and the Blackstone Fortresses are indeed extragalactic in nature, then what would be their true purpose for journeying to the Milky Way galaxy? More importantly, just who, or what, could have engineered such potent artifacts? We may never know for certain. What do you think? Leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.